So one of the fundamental principles of moving safely through the winter hills is to stay on your feet, and we're here today to look at what happens if a slip becomes a slide. So we've come to this slope here, a place that we've chosen deliberately, and we've chosen a slope with some soft snow, a nice run out, no rocks or trees or other vegetation that's going to harm us, and we're going to just get things in place so that this is all done in a safe manner. So just to make this activity a little safer, I've prepared myself in a few ways, which might not be the case when you're out in the hills on a normal walk. I've put on a helmet for a starter, just because there's a few pointy things around that can make contact with my skull. I've taken my crampons off because when they catch in the snow you can start cartwheeling and all sorts of things like that. I've tucked myself into my waterproof. Some people like to actually put their salopettes or their trousers over the top of their jacket to stop the ingress of snow as you practice this. And there's no leash on my axe, so that there's no tangles there. Okay, so one of the important things to get sorted at the top of your slope is to have a decent ledge, almost hole for you to stand in, so that there's no danger of you going off without being quite ready for it. And I'm going to show you the position that we're going to aim to get into when we've finished what's called self-arrest. Our position will be, my feet are up in the air, keeping my crampons away from the snow and a chance of snagging. My face is turned away from where all the action is on the axe head, so that I'm not in danger of catching any sharp instruments in the face. I'm putting lots of pressure on the pick of my axe with my right shoulder by leaning my torso to the right, and I'm covering the spike with my left hand so that can't damage my abdomen. So from the starting position, I think it's best if you get the feel of this first by just having a few releases and goes, and just without building up any speed, bring yourself Okay, so from the comfort of our ledge, we then mentally go through what we're about to do, as the process starts with the feet first on your back. That's the easiest one to begin with. And obviously nothing's going to work until we've rolled over, and it's crucial the way you roll over. If you roll the wrong way, your axe is likely to get ripped out of your hands. So what I'm going to make sure I do, my right hand's on the axe head, I'm going to make sure I roll to the right hand side, and that makes sure that the spike of the axe does not jab on the other side there. It'd be vital, if this was ever needed, that this happened really quickly before any speed built up. So this is a skill it's worth practicing until you're proficient at, and perhaps worth revisiting every season just for a short time, just to make sure that those skills are not rusty. It's also obviously going to need to be practiced on both sides of your body, because you may have the axe in your left or your right hand, as this really occurs out in the hills. So ease yourself out of your hole and onto the slope, and away we go when there's a bit of speed. So if it's a slip that's taking you off your feet, it's likely that you're shooting off down the slope feet first. However, if it's a trip with your crampons snagging on something, then you could well end up going down the slope head first, which is an altogether much more serious prospect. So the slide we're about to do now is a head first on the front, and you'll see the arrest takes place in two distinct phases. Firstly, the axe will go out to the side and then will be used as a pivot point so that my legs can swing around beyond it. Once that's happened, the axe will come out and be driven in as per a normal arrest. And it's always wise when you're starting this one that you get someone behind you who can hold your feet down behind the lip of your snow trench so that you don't take off until you're quite sure you're ready. Okay, the axe goes out, speed out, and arrest. probably the one that requires the most agility, is the slide where you're head first on your back, and this is a complex manoeuvre involving a bit of a sit-up, as you'll see. Whoa. Your world is immediately upside down. It's very disorientating, this position. What we're essentially going to do is sit up to that side, as you'll see. Okay, mate? The first stage of this will be to sit up and drive the axe head into the snow. Secondly, the legs need to arc round away from the axe, keeping the crampons clear of the snow. Once this has happened, the axe can be released and go into normal self-arrest. Essentially, it's really important that you practice these skills till you're very proficient at them, remembering that this slide isn't going to take place necessarily on a friendly slope like this. In fact, if you're on bone hard snow ice, it's going to be very difficult to stop at all. One of the key differences, I suppose, when you're on harder snow ice is that if you drive your axe in quickly, it could get taken away from you. So it would be a much more gentle arrest on harder snow ice, and on bone hard snow ice, as I say, you might not even stop at all. So if you're on that sort of territory, then maybe you ought to really think about the consequences of staying on that territory, or whether it's just safer to move to different ground.